Coach Joey McGuire has found the key to success at Texas Tech. Stormy's with him.
Well, and Tess, it's been 26 days since Texas Tech last played its final game. A lot has been talked about the layoff. What have you prioritized with your team to get off to a good start today?
You know, the biggest thing is, we practice good on good a lot more this late in the season. And then, we got to weather their storm. They started really fast in their first playoff game. And then we got to go be us. We've got to go play great defense and go take the ball away.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
He's got Dan Lanning.
Thanks, Stormy. Dan, you're two of the most complete teams in the country. What positional matchup do you think will be most important today?
Man, everybody. 111th, each guy's doing their job. It's going to be a great matchup. Can't wait to see our guys compete.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
Statistically and stylistically, this is a heavyweight fight. Both Oregon and Texas Tech, they have the big punches, but they have the counterattacks too. Oregon, 9th in total offense. Tech is 3rd in total defense. On the other side, it's the Red Raiders, 4th in total offense, while Puddles punches back, being 8th in total defense. And many feel pound for pound, this may be the best game of the day. We will see. It is wildly intriguing.
It's so true, Joe, in so many ways. The body punches, being able to run the football, both offenses can do that. But statistically also, these are the two most explosive offenses in the entire country, and they can get it done throwing it as well. So you heard Joey McGuire tell Stormy, we got to take the football away. This is one of those games, to me, defense wins the day, and which team can get takeaways and steal possessions, I think, goes a long way in determining this one.
We know you just watched hour upon hour of the rain in Southern California. Let's solve that problem by showing you high above Miami. A little bit of a cold dip. It was in the 80s for most of last week for Christmas holiday, and now 63, but the temperature is rising as our day goes on, and clear skies and sunny here in South Florida. Texas Tech won the toss. They elected to defer. So Noah Whittington will be back to field the Stone Harrington kickoff. First game at Hard Rock Stadium for either team. As we are underway on New Year's Day. And Dante Moore leads this offense that when it comes to explosive plays, #1 in the country, Jesse.
And he is a natural passer of the football. There are a lot of good throwers in college football, but Dante Moore can throw it from different arm angles. He throws a very catchable pass, very accurate, throwing it deep downfield, very accurate on the run, and his poise is something that really stands out. He's shown that at Penn State. He's shown that at Iowa earlier this year. He's going to need that poise against this pass rush from Texas Tech today.
Coming off a season-high 4 touchdown passes and a rushing touchdown against JMU. Whittington is tackled for a loss immediately by the first-team All-Big 12, Lee Hunter.
And that's Big Lee Hunter in the middle at 330 pounds going against Poncho Olu right here, and he just sheds him. If we talk about this defensive line, it starts in the middle, and the transfer from UCF making a big play on the first play.
The matchup everybody has talked about, the defensive front of Texas Tech. Many feel the best in the country against the explosive Ducks. As getting it complete to Johnson on 2nd and 12 is Dante Moore.
Take a look at the impact players. Kenyon Sadiq, one of the most talented tight ends in the country for Oregon. Malik Benson has been so big for them on special teams and offense the last 3 games. David Bailey and Rodriguez.
3rd and 7, and it's Johnson again for a first down for the Ducks. Remember, in the first round of the CFP, he had that impressive 41-yard touchdown in the first couple minutes of the game.
Well, he's really been the tight end that has made more plays down the field in these last 2 games here. He's just going to the open area in between the safeties and makes a great catch.
Now on first down, quick to the outside as they get it to the other tight end, Kenyon Sadiq.
They have a matchup problem with these 2 tight ends, Sadiq and Johnson. Big guys who can run and they can stretch the field, and it's an issue for defenses from a personnel standpoint because how do you want to stop them? They're too big for safeties to cover. and they're too fast for linebackers to cover, and that's the stress this offense can put on you because of Sadiq and Johnson.
Second and 8. Moore. Complete again to Sadiq. So the tight ends coming into play early on here.
Well, he does a nice job that time running the drag route and running away from the linebacker, Ben Roberts. They're attacking the middle of the field right now with those big targets at tight end that we were just talking about.
11-yard completion to the top NFL tight end prospect. Dante Moore with time, hooks up again. This is Jeremiah McClellan.
Well, and the key word there, Joe, is with time. And a really good job by this offensive line that time, giving Dante Moore an opportunity and a beautiful window to spot the redshirt freshman running the curl route.
Good opening drive for the Ducks. Going to take a shot to the end zone. And it's incomplete. Malik Benson, the intended target. Amir Boyd had coverage for the Red Raiders.
Well, Malik Benson won right away at the snap. A tremendous release, and the ball a little bit underthrown. Amir Boyd there, and he just keeps fighting all the way through the ground. And it was at the very last moment that he knocked this one away.
Guys, the chain gang is having trouble keeping up with Oregon's tempo. The officials are having to yell at them to keep up because they're playing so fast.
8th play of this high-tempo opening drive, Katie, for Oregon. We'll keep it on the ground this time. And just cut down beyond the line of scrimmage was Noah Whittington by Brendan Jordan.
Well, Katie, that's a good point you make, because we keep talking about this D-line from Texas Tech. One thing Oregon's offensive coordinator Will Stein told us is we want to go fast and run as many plays as possible, stay on the field to see if we can tire this front of Texas Tech out. They don't rotate a ton of guys, and on this third down, all 4 starters stay in the game.
3rd down and 8. And you can hear the roar as Texas Tech fans have flooded to South Florida. Moore on 3rd and 8. Pressure, and they get to him. He is sacked by the best in the biz, David Bailey. 14.5 sacks now on the season.
When I've watched Oregon's O-line this year, the one weak link has been at right tackle, and Alex Harkey out here, and they've got him one-on-one. They're deciding not to chip with the running back, and against the speed and quickness of David Bailey, that is not a great idea. When offensive coordinators have left their tackles on islands against that guy, it's been a problem. That's something Will Stein, the O coordinator for Oregon, is going to want to maybe adjust as this game goes on.
So it'll be a 50-yard attempt for Atticus Sappington. And that is well struck. The pass rush did their job on that 3rd down, but the Ducks are on the board. Baron Morton and the Red Raiders offense when we return.
Welcome back to the Orange Bowl. In Oregon's opening drive, they came so close to scoring a touchdown here in a fade route to Malik Benson. He's got it in his left hand. It's Amir Boyd at corner that just battles with him all the way to the ground, and the ball comes out at the last possible second. A big-time play by the UTEP transfer corner.
Remember, Benson was the star of the first-round college football playoff game. Had 119 yards, a couple touchdowns against James Madison. He has elite speed. They held him to a field goal thanks to that pass rush of the Red Raiders. Well, we mentioned Oregon leading the nation in explosive plays. You know who's number 2? Their opponent.
Right, and they're led by a quarterback in Baron Morton, who leads the conference in efficiency and accuracy. You don't see a lot of off-target throws from him. He does a great job playing on time, but he makes really good decisions, reading coverage and not forcing the football into harm's way. He's only thrown 4 picks on the entire year, and he's going to have to be careful against this Oregon defense that has tons of athleticism and speed.
Remember, Morton's undefeated as a starter this year. They have 1 loss. It's the game he missed. There's Williams on the ground as he's able to wiggle his way ahead for a gain of about 3.5. Tuioti with the tackle.
We're looking at impact players when Texas Tech has the ball. Cam Dickey leads the Big 12 with 14 rushing touchdowns. He's physical. Caleb Douglas, the Florida transfer, scored 6 touchdowns in his last 6 games.
Williams takes it ahead. Saw the fast tempo from Oregon. Let's see what kind of pace Texas Tech wants to work with.
It's one of those games that you just can't blink because both these teams love to go fast.
Straight to the line, snapping with 30 on the play clock, getting quickly to the outside with 36, but unable to get ahead for the line to gain for Williams as immediately Bryce Betcher, one of the great stories in college football, was there to make the tackle.
Well, and he's been just that. He's been an absolute tackling machine. Nice job bringing down Jacoby Williams out in space. Leads the Big Ten. That now was 114th tackle. He really is the heart and soul of Oregon's defense, and a great job by the Ducks forcing a 3-and-out on the opening possession.
Betcher, the local star, dual sport, played baseball, walked onto the football team. That was always his dream. Burgess on to punt away. Malik Benson calls for the fair catch, and he secures it around the 28-yard line. Dante Moore, 55 yards on that opening drive. He's out there with the Ducks offense when we return to South Florida.
The CFP quarterfinal at the Capital One Orange Bowl is brought to you by Capital One. What's in your wallet? AT&T. Connecting changes everything. And Taco Bell.
Now there's the Jamari Johnson touchdown catch I was mentioning, Jesse, in the first round of the CFP to open up the game in the first couple minutes. And tight ends already playing a role today.
Yeah, they've only been targeted 4 times already. 4 catches in this game. It's just so unique to have weapons like Oregon does at that position, and it's a problem. I think one commonality, too, between that game and this one, Dante Moore, the quarterback's been able to get into a rhythm, and the tight ends help him do that. He started the JMU game 11 for 11. He's already 5 of 6 in this game today.
10-play drive to open things up. Sappington had the 50-yard field goal. You know, we got a little bit of the strength versus strength we've been talking about for weeks now because you saw how good Moore is, but then you also saw the pass rush of Texas Tech as Bailey had the sack on 3rd down. Second offensive drive for Oregon. Dynamic freshman duo at running back in the game. This is Hill, De'Aaron Hill, who takes it ahead. He is the lightning to Jordan Davison's thunder.
That's it. And really, we've seen Dante Moore throwing it a lot, but the identity of Oregon's offense is their ability to run. They're averaging 5.9 yards per carry, second best in the country. Big offensive line and a deep and big and physical group of running backs trying to wear the defense down.
Quickly to the outside. Boy, that was dangerous on that play as it is a loss of yardage immediately as Hill was taken down by Wisniewski.
Yeah, the transfer from North Dakota State made a great heads-up play that time. Beat the block, and the 6th-year senior able to get a stop. So here's a big 3rd and long again. Remember, the last 3rd down, David Bailey, one-on-one with the right tackle, ended up being a sack. It'll be interesting to see what Oregon does on this one and how they decide to treat number 31 with this play call.
There he is, first-team All-America. 3rd down and 10. Moore gets it out quickly, does so to Davison, who will have the first down for the Ducks.
Well, that time they actually dropped David Bailey in coverage and brought the pressure from the other side. Bailey's over here. He's going to drop back that way. And a nice heads-up job by Dante Moore, understanding where his hot answer was against the pressure to the true freshman running back Davidson in the flat, and that moves the sticks.
This time the big man goes ahead for about 2.5 yards before he is brought down by Lee Hunter.
It's tough to run against this front man. They're only giving up 68 rushing yards a game. They are very big and physical across the board. We've talked about Lee Hunter already, but one-on-one, they win at the point of the attack, and if they're not making tackles themselves, they're eating up blocks to allow linebackers Rodriguez and Roberts and their nickel Curry and safety Wisniewski to run to the ball unimpeded and make tackles.
So all those defensive numbers and rushing yards given up. Also #1 in the country with 31 turnovers collected. 2nd and 7. That is batted down at the line of scrimmage, and it's David Bailey again.
Well, it was a bit of a funky formation that time for Oregon, and they had the tight end, Jamari Johnson, lined up a tackle opposite of Bailey. He runs the route, so there's nobody there, and that's an easy knockdown. Now setting up yet another 3rd and long. And make no mistake, Joe, this is not a down and distance Oregon wants to be living in this game, and they've already early in this one been living in it too much.
3rd down and 7. Here's Moore with time, connects at midfield, but then driven back is Malik Benson. So that's 1.5 yards shy of the line to gain as Jacob Rodriguez, best linebacker in the country, and Ben Roberts combine on the tackle.
Well, it's an offense in Oregon, Joe, that has been very aggressive this season, going for it on 4th down. Right here at midfield, something Dan Lanning has liked to do. Just remember, Texas Tech has been one of the best 4th down defenses in the country, giving up just 29%. That's 3rd best.
Oregon 64% on 4th down this season. 4th and 2 from midfield. Fourth down and diving effort from Sadiq. It's a 1st down, Oregon.
That is a big time catch. Sadiq one-on-one with the safety, Brendan Jordan, and he's just running a quick out route. This ball's got to come out fast, right in on the body. One thing about Sadiq that really impresses you, 6'3", 245. He has great body control, and he makes a lot of really difficult catches. Makes it look easy.
Mel Kiper's got him #8 overall on the NFL draft big board. Davison looking for some room against the middle of that Red Raiders defense. Rodriguez with the tackle. Katie.
Well, Tess, this is a 2nd game back for Oregon receivers DeCorian Moore and Gary Bryant. Both were limited in their return from injuries against JMU. Bryant only played 8 snaps. Moore had just 1 catch, but it was helpful for both to knock off some rust. Look for them to be more involved today, guys.
Yeah, good point, Katie. Moore has tremendous speed, and Gary Bryant Jr. all year has been so good on 3rd down and very dangerous after the catch.
And delay handoff as Whittington does a really nice job of slithering upfield, and they're going to move the chains again. And now Oregon finding some rhythm offensively.
Well, they finally substituted, and they got the 2 starting tackles out of the game. This is Cofield and Banks, and they get a little bit too wide, and that creates the crease.
Moore dropping back on 1st down. A flag is down as he went all the way back towards midfield before he has to throw it away.
Yeah, that's a bad hold on Isaiah World that time, working against Terrell Tillman, the former Oregon Duck.
Holding, offense, number 76. 10-yard penalty, replay 1st down.
I mean, it's not just David Bailey coming off the edge. They've got other guys. I mean, he gets neck tackled right around the head right there and brought to the ground. Right now, Oregon not giving their tackles a lot of help with chips from the tight ends and running backs. And in a lot of ways, Joe, I do have to say, I do agree with that. You don't want to waste the talent you have at tight end of Jamari Johnson and Sadiq having to block. But we've seen a lot of speed off the edge. And I do think you need to start getting these running backs involved to help these big fellas out on the outside.
See Whittington late to get out there in position. After the penalty, it's 1st and 20 as he carries the ball. Makes the most of it, going ahead inside the 40, tackled by Roberts.
Roberts was the MVP of the Big 12 championship game. 2 interceptions in that one. Tremendous ball skills and a big body at 6'3", 240 pounds. But he's got history with Oregon himself. He actually got his first start against the Ducks back in 2023. Had 12 tackles and a forced fumble in that game. So this is a matchup he always looks forward to.
That was a classic game a few years ago. 2nd and 16. And it is complete to Moore. Katie just mentioned getting the receivers back healthy, and DeCorian Moore, the true freshman, comes up with a 13-yard grab.
Watch the anticipation. This ball comes out before Moore turns around. Really good by Dante Moore in the pre-snap, seeing the cushion by Bryce Pollock at corner, and then making a nice firm throw outside. and Moore makes it easy for him to turn around and catch it. You see that last throw is a good example, Joe, of just how catchable of a ball Dante Moore throws. He makes it very easy on his targets.
3rd down and 3, working out of that hole of that early penalty that put them back. Here's Moore. He's going to run it ahead, and he's going to be tackled 1.5 yards shy of that line to gain by Rodriguez and Roberts. Remember, they went for it on 4th down at midfield. We'll see what kind of a decision Dan Lanning makes here.
Well, he's got one of the biggest, most physical offensive lines in the country, and he's got some big backs to work with as well back there. Normally in these situations, Jordan Davison, the true freshman, plays a big role.
Now Trent Ferguson's coming into the game.
That's an extra offensive lineman, number 56. Get a little extra beef up front. Right now, you've got Davison and the Wildcat right behind center.
See Davison and Lamar. Let's see if they direct snap here on 4th and 1, and they do. It's Davison at 236 pounds, and he's tackled for a loss by Lee Hunter. A turnover on downs. That Red Raiders defense does their job.
Lee Hunter is just like a big cat, 6'4", 330 pounds. He's just so quick off the snap. The left guard, Emmanuel Pregnon, has got to try to reach him right here, but he's just too fast, and he's able to crease it. That's his 2nd big play he's made in this game behind the line of scrimmage. A huge stop on 4th down.
3-zip Oregon just stopped on 4th down as you're watching the Capital One Orange Bowl. They're saying, how did Texas Tech get this good this quickly? Well, they had the #1 portal class in the country, and then they proved it with what they do on offense and the most improved defense in the country. You add that all together, you put a season together where you go 12 and 1, and you win every one of those that you won by over 20 points.
Just like digging for oil, you got to hit, and in the portal class, they have hit on all their guys.
Here's Morton as he quickly gets it to Carter, and Carter trying to drag a defender ahead past the 30-yard line. That was Kennedy with the tackle.
Well, you take a look at the margin of victory. We talked about this in the open, 31 points. And keep in mind, too, they beat 4 teams this year that have 10 or more wins by an average of 24, by more than 3 touchdowns. These games aren't even close, and they're dominating in all 3 facets.
2nd and 3, Dickey. He is met right at the line of scrimmage. A good surge that time by Tuioti.
Well, it's a big physical D-line, and Tuioti, the son of their D-line coach, Tony Tuioti, is just a technician. That time completely blew up the pulling lineman, now setting up 3rd and short.
Another opportunity for this Oregon defense to quickly get off the field. Morton on 3rd and 2, being chased back inside the 20-yard line. And he is taken down. It is Tuioti again. Tatum Tuioti, 8.5 sacks on the year now. Well, and Dad's loving it.
And that's a coverage sack by Oregon. Just nowhere to go for Baron Morton. He holds it and holds it. He's going to try to roll out and extend this play and buy time. There you see Tuioti coming off the right-hand side, working against Jacob Ponton. That's a ball Morton's got to be able to throw away. And Joe, you just get the feeling this Oregon defense is very motivated after giving up 34 points and over 500 yards to JMU in their last game.
We got 90 seconds to play in this first quarter. And Texas Tech has had 6 offensive plays as Burgess looks to flip the field, and Benson secures the fair catch. 22 offensive plays for Oregon to 6 for Texas Tech. 3-zip Ducks.
We've been talking about this dominant D-line for Texas Tech, and they've made their presence felt very early. This is the opening play. Lee Hunter getting a big stop on a critical 3rd down, first drive for Oregon. It's David Bailey working against Alec Harkey and getting the sack. Bailey later knocks the ball down, and then on the last drive on a critical 4th down, he beats Emmanuel Pregnon across the face. Lee Hunter does, with another stop in the backfield. They went to the portal. They brought in 4 impact transfers. They're making their presence felt in this one early.
And 4 TFLs, you see the sack. 2 passes defended, but meanwhile the Texas Tech offense cannot find their way at all. Dante Moore is ripped down again. It's Romello Heights. Another first-team all-conference players with double-digit sacks for Height.
And it's another D-end one-on-one with the tackle. Watch the hands of Romello Height here. Watch how he fights. He rips underneath, gets those hands from Isaiah World up, and then makes it home. There was pressure coming right up the middle, which forced Dante Moore to start trying to roll to his left. With the Georgia Tech transfer, now he's getting in on the action.
In-cutting route to Malik Benson. Makes up a little bit of that yardage. As it'll set up third down.
And it affects you as a quarterback when you get hit this often early in a game, because the clock, Joe, it starts to go off in your head. And for Dante Moore, he knows he's not going to have a ton of time back there. He's got to make a quick decision, and the ball's got to come out quickly. We talked about how poised he's been all season long. And again, that poise will get put to the test today.
So here's the down and distance that the Red Raiders pass rush feasts on. What does Dante Moore have for an answer on 3rd and 14? He's going to try to run it. And he is secured by Jacob Rodriguez, who finished 5th in the Heisman Trophy voting. And with that, we come to the end of quarter number 1. The quarterfinals. The Capital One Orange Bowl. The Ducks. The Red Raiders from Hard Rock.
Hard Rock Stadium with Texas Tech head coach Joey McGuire, your defense seems to have settled in. How do you get that same result from your offense soon?
Yeah, we got to get the first down. You know, I think we've had good first downs, but it's second down that's put us in, really some tough third downs. So we've got to get that first down and hopefully keep our defense off the field a little bit more, get some points on the board.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Stormy, that offense for Texas Tech, -2 total yards. Time of possession was over 12 minutes for Oregon in that first quarter. 2:55 for Texas Tech. We begin this second quarter with James Ferguson Reynolds on the field to punt. As he gets it off quickly. And fair catch around 21.
Straight out the gates, we scrapping. Clashes, passion, blitzes, all action. I'm in the trenches, stomping the yard. I came, I saw, I started, I rained, I ball hard. Hit it.
What a great stretch of football between today and then Saturday, the doubleheader on ESPN and ABC. Panthers Bucks at 4:15. I believe Katie's on that broadcast team. And then Seahawks and 49ers. NFC West title conference #1 seed on the line, 7:45. The NFL doubleheader on ESPN and ABC. This is Cameron Dickey taking it ahead. Well, the story of the game has been the ball control for Oregon, the dynamic defensive plays by Texas Tech, and the lack of any offense we've seen from the Red Raiders.
Well, that's big. Oregon running 25 plays in the first quarter, and we keep talking about how good Texas Tech is up front on the D-line, but they've already played a lot of snaps, and if that doesn't change, just how long can that D-line hold up?
2nd and 7. Morton. Intercepted. It was Brandon Finney, the phenomenal freshman.
An outstanding job of the true freshman corner breaking out of his drop and cutting in front of the face of the receiver here in the slot, working a corner route. That's going against Reggie Virgil, and he's able to pluck it out of the air, Joe. Brandon Finney has been as advertised, the number 7 ranked corner coming out of high school. He's been their best all season, has started every game, and he has tremendous man skills and coverage, and also a great job as you look at the connected cam AT&T replay. His ability to pluck that ball out of the air. This guy is a special, special player. Every single week, offenses, they keep going after him, thinking they can take advantage of the true freshman. and he keeps making teams pay.
That was Morton's 5th interception. That's it. Just his 5th interception thrown out of 303 pass attempts this season. And now the short field for Oregon. As Lee Hunter again with the tackle. Davison, maybe a half yard there.
We just got done talking about how Texas Tech has to stay on the field. They got to give their defense a rest. And with that interception by Morton on the second play of the drive, their defense is right back out there again, now with their backs against the wall.
Just tremendous play by Finney. Guy they talk about being so incredible with his prep. And it paid off there. Second down, ball comes loose. Ball is loose as Dante Moore seemingly recovering it, fighting for that ball, and yes, he does, but they are backed up to the 43-yard line.
That is a huge mistake and an exchange issue that time between Moore and the true freshman Jordan Davison. It was Terrell Tillman, the former Oregon Duck, who gets out there and falls on Dante Moore. Moore didn't look like he collected that football clean right away, was able to finally scoop it up, but a moment ago, they're on the doorstep of the red zone. Now they're outside the 40-yard line.
After the sloppy play, 3rd and long now for Moore. Quick to the outside, and that is incomplete. He was looking for Sadiq. It was nowhere near him.
I think he was trying for a back shoulder throw with Sadiq down here running this wheel route over on the sideline, and Sadiq kept going downfield. And just a big missed opportunity for Oregon's offense. You got to give Texas Tech's defense credit, though. In a sudden change situation after throwing a costly interception like that, hasn't happened often this year. A miscue from Oregon in an exchange, and all of a sudden they forced Oregon in a 3-and-out. That's unbelievable in sudden change.
It really is with the short field. How much Texas Tech can lean on this incredible defensive front 7. As Ferguson Reynolds will look just to pin it with the back rotation, and good special teams coverage there inside the 10-yard line. Brandon Finney, coaches rave about him. They said as soon as he came on campus, he was immediately their best cornerback. And he came up with the interception moments ago, but they couldn't cash in off of it. Glorious clear day here in South Florida as aerial coverage is brought to you by Goodyear. Tried, tested, proven legendary. A look down at Hard Rock Stadium on January 19th. This is going to be home to the CFP National Championship, and today's a day that determines who advances. Once we're done here in Miami, what a Rose Bowl with Alabama and #1 Indiana and the Heisman Trophy winner, and then the Sugar Bowl with Ole Miss and Georgia set to come your way. Here's Williams as he makes it out to the 12-yard line. What a quarterback matchup for Pasadena today, Jesse.
It's kind of why I'm happy we have this noon game. Because you know, who both live here in the area, we can get home and watch this thing on our couch. It's going to be great. Ty Simpson, who's just been tremendous this year at Alabama, versus the Heisman Trophy winner, obviously, in Mendoza. I think a big difference. Mendoza's got a running game to help him. Alabama right now does not.
There's 2nd and 8. As Williams changes direction, and Baron Morton, his quarterback, is out in front providing coverage, but what a move by Jacoby Williams. Oh my!
It looked to me like either Bryce Betcher or Amari Washington were going to make this play in the backfield. Somehow Jacoby Williams is able to just turn course. He stays on his feet. I don't know how he kept his balance, and he takes off. You got Baron Morton out in front, lead blocking, and there's an explosive play that Texas Tech's offense needed so badly, and that's a spark they had to have.
Their first down of the game comes on that 50-yard run. Trying to check down to Williams there.
Well, the thing you know about Texas Tech is these running backs, both Cameron Dickey and Jacoby Williams, they are dangerous, and they're dangerous running the ball, but they can catch it as well. And for offensive coordinator, you see right there, Mac Leftwich, He wants to get these guys touches. To get this offense into a rhythm, I think number 8 and number 20 in the backfield, they got to start touching the football.
Look at that first 9 plays. I mean, they were off the field with 3 and outs, and all of a sudden, here's Williams again in space. And this time, great pursuit by Tasha Poy's defense as the Ducks corral Williams right away, and it'll be 3rd down.
So now who can win outside for Texas Tech at receiver? You know, they spread it around. They've got 4 targets that are all 6'2" or taller, so they create matchup problems, and I think Baron Morton does a good job of just letting the coverage determine who gets the football, but on the perimeter right here, they need to make a big play to stay on the field on 3rd.
3rd down and 8. Morton, that ball's incomplete, but it was batted at the line of scrimmage by Jerry Mixon. This is a guy, every time you see a big play defensively around the ball, typically it's Mixon making it happen, a true playmaker.
Well, a great heads-up play, too, because they motion the running back, Jacoby Williams, out wide again. They're trying to get the slant to him, and Mixon knows he's not going to get home on the rush. He just watches the quarterback's eyes and times his jump perfectly, a little doink off the helmet. He's setting up now a bomb field goal attempt by Stone Harrington.
But a guy who's got the leg to get it done. A 54-yard attempt by Stone Harrington. But this drifts off to the left.
A nice job there by Oregon's defense to collect themselves after the explosive run by Williams, getting a couple stops and then setting up this long kick. Now, Harrington hit from 58 earlier this year from Utah. That's why not a big surprise that Joey McGuire decided to go for that, but Dan Lanning knows. Former D coordinator, for his defense to go back out there. Outside of that one play by Williams, this Oregon defense has been lights out.
Yes, they have. So back to business is Dante Moore and this Ducks offense as they shift everybody over to the right side and awkwardly handling that snap as Moore tries to keep his footing, but he is tackled for a loss again.
Oregon just needs to settle down on offense because it's the little things that they're messing up. It's an exchange with the running back on the last drive. Now a simple center QB shotgun snap is turning into an adventure, and they just got to do the easy things right.
The flag rains down at the snap after the 6th tackle for loss for Texas Tech.
Ball start, offense, number 1. 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
And that's the true freshman Moore, the receiver.
Right. Well, they had a lot of guys moving. Kenyon Sadiq that time was up front moving. Had some linemen as well. And I think, you know, this pass rush and how fast Texas Tech can get upfield, I mean, that starts to happen to people. You get a bit antsy. People start kind of getting back in their feet. These linemen want to get set and get in position to defend the edge, and got to just settle in right now. It's unforced errors that are hurting Oregon's offense.
2nd and 17, quickly into space as he goes with Hill. And De'Aaron Hill, the true freshman, takes it out to the 32-yard line.
Well, this offense throws about as many screens out wide that I've seen from any team this year, and they really look at that as an extension of the running game, just trying to get their speed, the football out in space to make this 3rd down a little bit more manageable. But sitting here right now, 3rd and 14, there's not a lot of play calls, and you have to wonder, you know, how do you give Dante Moore time, because receivers are going to have to get way downfield. You got to let these routes develop. A lot of pressure right now on this O-line. No running backs in the backfield to help out in protection.
Well, and you see Bailey and you see Rodriguez in 3rd and 14. You know they're coming after him, so checking down to Johnson, and Johnson takes it out to the 42-yard line, tackled by Boyd there. So that's short of the line of game.
But Texas Tech is happy to do that, and they're going to give you that, and everybody's going to drop back into deep coverage and let you check it down. I think the biggest luxury any defense has is a pass rush with 4 guys. Texas Tech this year, 33 sacks on the season when they only rush 4. That's most in the nation. You can keep 7 guys in coverage, keep the football in front of you. You don't give up explosive plays, and you saw an example of that right there.
James Ferguson Reynolds on to punt again. It's a fake! It is a fake, and they get it complete, and they do so to Tatum Tuioti. James Ferguson Reynolds has pulled off some magic before, and here on New Year's Day, he does it.
He's watching these four guys up front rush, and when he sees that, there's nobody out there with Tuioti just running an easy flat route. Nice accurate throw that time by the Aussie. A big gamble for Dan Lanning on 4th down, pays off in special teams, and now it's Oregon inside Texas Tech territory.
They were headed to their 3rd straight 3 and out. Instead, the punter pulls it off. Oregon football.
The CFP quarterfinal at the Capital One Orange Bowl is brought to you by Capital One. What's in your wallet? And Gatorade.
James Ferguson Reynolds with the 11-yard pass on 4th down, the fake punt to Tuioti. And you can only imagine down there, you get around the specialist, you're in a wacky crowd right there. You can only imagine the reaction he's getting, having thrown a 4th down fake punt completed pass in the Capital One Orange Bowl.
Well, it's plays like that, Joe, that can galvanize your entire sideline, right? I think that was a good timeout to take by Joey McGuire from Texas Tech, just to get your guys resettled. But also, remember, the defense is going right back out on the field, so you give them an opportunity to catch their breath because they've already played over 30 plays in this game.
And with that successful fake punt, they're at the Texas Tech 46. Dante Moore checking at the line. Hill with the carry. There's only a couple of yards there as Hill is brought down by Ben Roberts.
Yeah, this is something I think Oregon needs to do a little bit more of. There's been a lot of passing early, but at the end of the day, it's the run game that makes this thing go, and they've got a deep stable of backs. They want this offensive line, big physical guys, to really lean on Texas Tech. They've got to have success and help make these 3rd downs a lot more manageable than they've been so far.
Second and 8, quick toss to Hill. Nothing is there again. It's Ben Roberts.
It's a great job by Roberts reading the offensive line and the block. So World's going to come out here and block. Roberts right away runs out, sees it, and he triggers. And right away comes downhill and makes another big stop. It's not just the D-line, it's the whole front 7. These linebackers play at a high level, and here we go again. Another 3rd and long. Now, what will Oregon do to help out Dante Moore here on the edges? You got a running back in the formation right now. Looks like he's helping Isaiah World at left tackle.
7th tackle for loss for the Red Raiders. The front 7 is as advertised. 3rd and 10 and complete to the 40-yard line. That was Gary Bryant, but it was Brendan Jordan on top of him immediately, and now decision time again for Dan Lanning.
I mean, these linebackers are just dropping back about 8 yards, just keeping everything in front. Dan Lanning, we've seen a couple gambles early in this game. One in the first quarter on 4th down, one with the fake punt. He's deciding to roll the dice again.
4th down. Dante Moore to pass on 4th down, has time and's got his man, Noah Whittington. 1st down, Ducks.
Well, in that time, Texas Tech was treating it like it was a long to go situation. I'm watching Amir Boyd at corner on 4th and short, and he's dropping way out of the picture, opening up a huge lane for them to throw, and he gets way back this way. And that makes it easy for the running back. You kind of got to understand the situation. There's nobody holding him that deep. You got to be closer to the line of scrimmage to make that play.
Now into space to McClellan. He's out of bounds near the 33-yard line.
Well, they've thrown a lot of screens so far. That's the 4th screen they've thrown. One thing they are going to do soon is they're going to pump fake one of those and see if they can catch linebackers and safeties sleeping and then take a shot downfield.
Empty look, 2nd and 8, quick to snap. Here's a shot downfield, and going after it was Benson. Malik Benson.
A fantastic throw and great location on the back shoulder. Benson, who's had back-to-back 100-yard games, running the seam route down the field. Wow, perfectly thrown. There's no defense for a perfect pass, and that's going up against the best corner from Texas Tech, Bryce Pollock.
Oh, that was blown up immediately as they were quick to the line to snap it right away after the big catch by Benson. But Sadiq was met by Pollock.
Yeah, I think the secondary now has seen enough screens, and they're starting to bite on them, and they're starting to attack. And that's why I say, if you're Oregon and you're Will Stein, you might want to think about a pump fake at some point, because the secondary now is getting really aggressive from Texas Tech on these screen throws.
Shieldwood, defensive coordinator. 2nd and goal for Oregon. They had the fake punt. They had the 4th down conversion on this drive alone. Davison straight ahead as he muscles his way inside the 5-yard line.
Man, there's not a lot of true freshman running backs. 6 feet, 236 pounds. He is one-on-one that time with Ben Roberts, and he runs right through him.
Here's 3rd and goal. Quick to the line. Snapping right away. Davison again probing against that defensive front and tackled at the line of scrimmage.
I tell you, if I'm Dan Lanning, I'd go for it here. Just how well their defense is playing. Outside of one good play by Texas Tech and Jacoby Williams, they've got nothing. And even if you miss this field goal, you're going to force them to have to, or to miss this touchdown, you're going to have to force them to drive the field. I like this call by Lanning, going for it.
Remember, they're 3 for 4 on 4th down.
And a guy that's made plays in this area of the field recently is Dante Moore. His first 2 rushing touchdowns of his career in the last 2 games on zone reads inside the 5-yard line. This is a place they could maybe use his athleticism.
Oregon is going to use a timeout. It is 4th and goal when we return to the Capital One Orange Bowl. Legends are made actually in moments like this, on days like this. 4th and goal on this 13-play drive for the Ducks where they had the fake punt. They converted a 4th down, and now they are right there on the doorstep of that end zone, painted black and red. Dante Moore. How do you cap a drive like this? They've rolled the dice all day. Can they cash in right here? Sprint right, looking to the end zone. It is batted down. David Bailey does it again.
Well, Oregon's trying to move the pocket this way. David Bailey's just going to flow with them. He's not actually rushing upfield. He's just watching Dante Moore, and he does his best Katie George impersonation at the net playing volleyball at Louisville. He absolutely stuffs this thing, and the defense for Texas Tech again comes up on a massive 4th down.
If you haven't watched a lot of Texas Tech this year, if you were sitting back saying, yeah, I've heard about the front 7, I've heard about the edge rushers and the talent here, you're getting a glimpse of it right now. They are dynamic defensively up front. But this offense has been horrible today. Cameron Dickey just trying to get them some breathing room.
Yeah, and he's the guy to do it. He's the physical back at 215 pounds, and there's a big challenge for Texas Tech's O-line, working against the interior of Oregon with Amari Washington and Bear Alexander, difficult guys to move.
From his own end zone is Morton. He's going to take a shot downfield, and that is incomplete, looking for the 6'4" Caleb Douglas. And now the Oregon defense with a huge opportunity, Jesse.
Well, they've been controlling Texas Tech with just 4 guys up front. That's been the impressive thing, and they don't like to blitz a lot anyway, but this is a bit of a dangerous situation for Baron Morton here as well, because they've now substituted Blake Purchase on the field. They got some smaller bodies to get after the QB. He's got to have a clock going off in his head, because this rush can get after you.
With his toes on the goal line, he brings the formation in. 3rd down and 6. Gets it out quickly, and it is a 1st down to Terrence Carter, his very capable tight end.
Well, Carter's running an option route. He's going against the safety. He can break this thing in or out, or he can curl, and against Flowers, he makes the right decision.
Morton now, 1st down. As he tried to go underneath to Cam Dickey, it's incomplete, but they were able to get out of that hole. Their first 3rd down conversion of the afternoon. They only have 67 total yards of offense. 50 came on one play.
Really impressed with Louisiana transfer Terrence Carter this season. So good at route running. A tight end at 245 pounds. We talked about Oregon's tight ends. This guy's been pretty good for the Red Raiders this year as well.
2nd down. Dickey could not spin free. He was cut down by Brandon Finney, who had the interception earlier today.
What a great job by Finney that time, recognizing run and just triggering right away. He's going to see this. He's got his eyes in the backfield, and there's absolutely no hesitation. I love that from corner play. Guys that just don't want to get interceptions, but they'll put their face in the fan and get involved in the run game.
He is going to be dynamic. He's just a true freshman, has the NFL size already, 6'2", over 200 pounds, and he's a playmaker. Morton on 3rd and 9, and the Red Raiders find a way again. It was Coy Aiken. A first down, Texas Tech.
Well, that play is made possible by the running back, Cameron Dickey, right here. Nazir Watt is going to come on a blitz, and he is going to stone him and give Morton an opportunity to throw that football.
Ball is out, and it is recovered by Finney. What did we just say about Brandon Finney? It was Bryce Betcher who forced the fumble, and the true freshman sensation, Finney, jumps on it.
A second critical turnover here, forced by Oregon's defense. A great job by Bryce Betcher getting in the backfield. Dickey's trying to bounce this thing out to the outside. There's Betcher. He forces it. And Johnny on the spot, Finney, coming up with his second takeaway in this game. Now, the last time Oregon forced a turnover in this area, they came away with no points. That cannot happen now on this drive for Dan Lanning and his Ducks.
Dan Lanning is fired up. 4 drives into Tech territory, but just 3 points for Oregon. Can they deliver now before halftime? Dante Moore gets it out quickly to Benson, and Benson is taken down at the 22-yard line.
And again, if you're trying to avoid 3rd and long, I love that play call right there. It's just a simple hitch route to the outside. You watch the safety rotation, you have the access, easy pitch and catch.
Coming up on the 2-minute timeout. Texas Tech was trying to find a little bit of offense before halftime, but Brandon Finney with his second takeaway today. An interception earlier, the fumble recovery moments ago, and Oregon has a chance to add to their lead before halftime here at the Capital One Orange Bowl.
Sequence of events here recently for Oregon. They fake a punt, they keep the drive going on 4th down, the goal line rolling out. David Bailey knocks it down, giving the ball back to Texas Tech. A few plays later, it's Bryce Betcher forcing a fumble. Brandon Finney jumping on it, and that's giving the Ducks the ball back now deep inside Texas Tech territory.
Joe Tessitore, Jesse Palmer, Katie George, and Stormy Buonantoni with you here at the Capital One Orange Bowl. Coming off the 2-minute timeout. Whittington testing that left side and only finding a yard.
And you have to wonder just how often can Texas Tech's defense bow up here in sudden change moments.
3rd down and 1, and nothing doing at all.
And what a play by David Bailey. He absolutely runs all the way around Alex Harkey that time at right tackle. He actually lined up on the inside. That's Bailey there on the ground. I think his helmet came off trying to make the tackle. He's lined up all the way in here. He's going to just loop and go around the outside like that and just run around him and make the play. Whether it's sacks, whether it's tackles for loss, whether it's been batting down balls, number 31 for Texas Tech, he's been everywhere for Texas Tech. And now Dan Lanning in another 4th down, this time deciding not to go for it and bring his field goal unit out there.
So Sabinton comes back out on 4th and 2 when they've been rolling the dice and taking chances all afternoon long. A 4th and 2, they're going to go with the field goal attempt, seemingly. Atticus Sappington, who came up huge in the win against top 20 Iowa, had a game-winning 39-yarder with 3 seconds left.
To avoid Texas Tech's charge, second time out of the half.
And Texas Tech will use a timeout. Preceding play had David Bailey with his helmet coming off. Want to remind you that coming up, stay tuned for the Mercedes-Benz halftime report. That'll be from the Rainy Rose Bowl in Pasadena with Reese, Desmond, and Joey Galloway. Glad that you're starting this spectacular day of college football with us here in South Florida. It's so interesting, the dynamic we're dealing with. 45 plays for Oregon, 20 for Texas Tech, and both defenses showing you how much talent they have, especially up front.
No question. And for Texas Tech, I mean, they keep bowing up in these sudden change situations. You just wonder how much more do they have left in the tank. They've already played a ton of snaps in this game, but they're living right now in Oregon's backfield. That's something Oregon has to make adjustments for in the second half. What can you say about Oregon's defense, too? And they've really done this. People that have watched Oregon, obviously, and familiar with them know just how dominant they've been on that side of the ball. But the two takeaways by the Ducks defense, I think the biggest story so far in this first half.
39-yard attempt for Sappington. Good lift and rotation and through. So his 2 field goals represent all the scoring we have today, Katie.
Well, Tess, Jesse and you mentioned earlier the Oregon defense's motivation after the way that they played in the second half against JMU is certainly there, but they also took issue with how much people were talking about Texas Tech's defensive line, their front seven. They took that personally, so this Oregon defense wants to prove they're elite, and for good reason too, and it's been a defensive first half, guys.
Yeah, it really has, Katie, and Oregon has just been flying around, playing so aggressively and playing with purpose. They've been sound, everybody in position, and I think those 2 big takeaways, obviously Brandon Finney having the best game of his young career, and what a career that is going to be. They have certainly answered the bell following what was their worst performance of the season in the first round of the playoff at home against JMU.
Of course, with the turnovers, the average drive start position is Oregon from their own 44 and Texas Tech from their own 17. And time of possession's been dominant, total offensive plays, total yards, but just 6-0 here at the Capital One Orange Bowl. Well, the winner will go on to play the winner of the Rose Bowl, Alabama and Indiana. That'll be up in Atlanta in the semifinals of this college football playoff. Of course, the day continues right here with quarterfinal action coming up next. It is the Rose Bowl game presented by Prudential as Alabama takes on Indiana. And then tonight, 8 p.m., the All-State Sugar Bowl from New Orleans with Ole Miss and Georgia. Of course, that is a rematch of the game earlier today. But you go back with the history to see a number 1 next to Indiana's name. You think about the national championships won by Alabama since Indiana was last in the postseason with a win. 7 national titles for Alabama since Indiana even won a bowl game. That was dangerous with Jerry Mixon, the Ducks linebacker, breaking on Terrence Carter.
Man, he jumped all over that route, almost picked that thing off. That was close to being a pick 6. And the third takeaway for the Ducks, go to Carter here, just running that curl route. Good timing by Baron Morton, but his eyes that time led Jerry Mixon right to the ball.
Mixon, who had a pick 6 touchdown return this year. It came against Oklahoma State early this season. Morton, he double pumped that, but was smart to wait to get it to Virgil. And Mixon involved on the tackle.
Well, this is a big moment here for Oregon's defense, because if they can get off the field, they're going to give Dante Moore one more opportunity to get some points in before going in at half. Oregon's got 2 timeouts to play with. If they could stop the clock here and give him another opportunity, that's certainly the goal for the Ducks.
Third down and 5. Under a minute to play here in the Orange Bowl first half. Morton is scrambling, looking for anything, and he's only able to spin his way ahead for a gain of 1 as Tuioti was able to trip him up.
Yeah, Dylan Thieneman that time at safety came down to rob the middle of the field, and it looked to me like Baron Morton had an opportunity for a big one to his running back, Cameron Dickey, running a post right down the middle. He ran right past Thieneman. That was a missed opportunity, I think, for the Red Raiders offense.
3rd 3 and out for Texas Tech. As Oregon utilizing a timeout, they have 1 remaining.
Well, this has been the story so far. It's been the takeaways. Brandon Finney doing a great job jumping in front of this corner route for his first takeaway of the game, and then Bryce Betcher forcing a fumble. Brandon Finney, Johnny on the spot, able to jump on it, and this defense, they've held up their end of the bargain so far in this game, and they have been dominant, playing with a purpose. We just heard from Katie the motivation they had coming into this one, and they get another big stop here in a 2-minute situation. Now getting the ball back for Dante Moore.
Joey McGuire, he expressed at the end of that first quarter the concern with the offense. Defense has been stellar, but they cannot generate any rhythm offensively. 43 seconds and 1 timeout remaining for Oregon as Burgess punts away. A fair catch near the 21-yard line for Malik Benson. Meanwhile, the defense that's been chasing that guy, Dante Moore, has been sensational, especially David Bailey.
Well, they've got 7 tackles for loss and 2 sacks, and David Bailey's played a big part of that. This was early on the first drive, beating Harkey at tackle 1-on-1. He's got 2 passes defensed himself, spiking these things down the ground, whether it's been pass situations, run situations, whatever down or distance it's been. The Stanford transfer has been lights out, and there really is no question he is going to be a top 10 pick in the upcoming NFL draft.
So how does Dante Moore manage things here? 1 timeout, 37 seconds before halftime. Quickly to the outside and complete to Benson.
And a nice job on the out route there, stopping the clock here in this 2-minute situation. Good throw on time, and you see the cornerbacks, if they're going to give access out wide to these Oregon receivers, I think Dante Moore in this first half, Joe, I think he's done a pretty good job of taking those easy pitch and catch throws.
20 of 25 passing for 158 yards.
He's got a kicker in Atticus Sappington that's hit 51 against Washington, so you got to get down close to the 30-yard line to have a shot.
There's a quick strike to DeCorian Moore.
Well, there's the pump fake on the screen that I was talking about earlier. That time you're faking the screen to Benson, and the aggressive play by 2 defenders in Texas Tech secondary open up the wheel route down the boundary.
Or half a minute to go before halftime. We'll get you out to the Rose Bowl. But for now, it's the Ducks on the go, and it's Jamari Johnson. And they are putting themselves in position here before halftime.
It's a nice little design by Will Stein, their old coordinator. You got a clear out route on the outside, and here's Johnson running the corner. Nice job by Moore, extending this play, stepping up in the pocket, keeping his eyes downfield, and so accurate on the move. 61% when he throws it 15 or more air yards downfield, second best in the country.
24-yard reception for Johnson. Well, and the bad snap is a worm burner all the way back to the 50-yard line.
That's the 3rd time for this Oregon offense. They've done this to themselves. Bad snaps.
And now they have to use that timeout, Jesse.
Ulu, and they were just now getting into field goal range for Sappington. I mean, you've got to be pulling your hair out if you're head coach Dan Lanning at the self-inflicted wounds from your offense in this game. It's handing it off to the running back. It's shotgun snaps. The things that you're supposed to be able to do in your sleep, you just can't explain that, especially in a game of this magnitude.
Just when you were seeing the best out of Dante Moore, too. He was so smooth there to get them down the field, and then a bad snap. So that leaves just 11 seconds remaining as they are backed up.
Well, it's also, this is the first one here. This is the exchange with Jordan Davison, but you're not expecting this from Ulu. He's a Remington finalist. He's one of the nation's top centers, and one went high, and this one just went low, and Dante Moore took a peek to see, hey, can I scoop this thing up and maybe throw it out of bounds and save the loss, but Texas Tech all over that, and
now they've exhausted their timeouts.
And only 11 seconds to go now. Not a lot of options here on 2nd and 23.
See if Moore's got a little something here before halftime. Crosses the field as he does get it complete to Jamari Johnson.
Man, you're holding.
The final seconds will tick away. And a flag does come in back all the way back at the other 41.
I think it's going to be Alex Harkey, the right tackle, on a hold. I was just going to say, holding your breath watching Dante Moore throw that back across his body. It's the cardinal sin.
Holding, offense number 71, 10-yard penalty, replay second down. Please set 3 seconds on the game clock. It will start on the snap.
It's amazing, Joe, to think they've got 6 points.
Yes.
And if you could just execute shotgun snaps and handoffs and not have false starts or holding penalties, how many points would Oregon have right now in this game? Look a lot different, that's for sure. And I know that's a conversation they're going to have at halftime. That's going to come from Dan Lanning and Will Stein. Guys, stop shooting ourselves in the foot.
Play clean football. Give yourself a chance because your defense is doing their job. The Texas Tech offense cannot find anything. As the reality of this down and distance field position and clock, as Dante Moore ready to take a knee and close out this first half of the Capital One Orange Bowl. So Texas Tech with only 88 yards of offense. A 6-zip lead for the Ducks. Katie.
Thanks, Tess. Dan, your defense and specials have been excellent. How would you assess your offense's first half?
Oh, we got to get out of this slump, right? Just got to put another play together. We can't take negatives, and we get in the red area, we got to go score. One of those on me. We should go ahead and take the points there.
Thanks for the time.
Thank you.
Stormy? Coach, despite a couple turnovers from your offense, only a 6-point game, what has your defense done to keep you in this thing?
The biggest thing, we got to get something going on offense for our defense. We're playing way too many defensive snaps, so we got to get in there, get settled down, find a good run to get us moving the football, and then we got to take care of the football.
Thank you.
Thank you.
49 defensive snaps for Joey's team. The last time Texas Tech was shut out in a first half was all the way back in 2021 against Oklahoma State. 6-zip Ducks. The Mercedes-Benz halftime report is still to come after these messages.
Overs, Texas Tech's defense in those 3 drives only gave up 3 points, and that to me is the biggest reason why the score is what it is.
-5 rushing yards for Oregon as Texas Tech receives the ball to start this second half. Our first half stats. You're going to cringe when you look at the Texas Tech offense. We've talked about the 8 tackles for loss for their defense, but you take away that one outlier 50-yard run by Williams where he really did it on his own, and just 38 yards of offense when you eliminate that one individual play.
Yeah, Joe, easily the worst Texas Tech has looked on offense this year. They can't establish the run game, and right now at wide receiver, Reggie Virgil and Caleb Douglas, they're 2 big threats down the field. 1 catch combined for only 5 yards.
We'll start the second half on the ground with Williams, and the struggles continue as he runs into his own man. Stormy.
When I spoke to Joey McGuire at the break about some of their struggles offensively, he said we've got to get something going into a rhythm, and a lot of it is on second down, which we're going to see here. Part of it, he said, is maybe creativity, and some of it's just executing the plan, but they do have trust in Baron Morton to execute that. This team has only found themselves trailing after the first half one time this season. It was the loss to ASU when they didn't have Morton.
And Stormy, to your point, all 12 wins by over 20 points. That is batted at the line of scrimmage, so it is going to be 3rd and 11 as you see Amari Washington, the man in the middle of that Oregon Ducks defensive line.
Simply put, one of the best athletes in all of college football. He's 330 pounds. He can jump 36 inches. He runs 21 miles an hour and squats 775 pounds. Really good timing knocking that ball down. He is also going to be a first-round pick in next year's draft.
ESPN.com has him number 20 overall for the NFL draft. 3rd down and 11. To the outside, but well short of the line to gain is Terrence Carter, who's tackled immediately by Jerry Mixon.
That's a really nice tackle by Mixon out in space against one of the best tight ends in the entire country after the catch. We've seen Mixon come up with a few big plays. Knocked one down at the line of scrimmage, almost had a pick 6, covering Carter at the end of the half, and they're making a nice tackle in the open field. Look at this, averaging 480 yards a game, just 90. So far in this one for Texas Tech.
And already the 4th punt for Jack Burgess. As Benson fields it cleanly, he's got space, had an 85-yarder against USC, and a good return here for the Ducks, as it was Burgess, the punter, who had to force him out. Well, ESPN and the College Football Playoff Foundation support education through sports, investing over $4 million in schools since 2014. This postseason, we're donating $1,000 for every touchdown scored to support teachers, coaches, sports, and fitness. For more information, go to cfp-foundation.org.
One thing Oregon has done well, they played good defense, but special teams also, they've been pretty money. Sappington 2 for 2 on field goals. Of course, they had the fake punt, and that a tremendous punt return by Benson now, setting Dante up near the 40-yard line of the Raiders.
Whittington, as he falls ahead for a couple yards. Katie.
Well, Tess, Malik Benson started the season as the third-string punt returner. He was a scout team receiver, and over the course of the season, he's become a pivotal piece in this offense, in part out of necessity due to the injuries. But Dan Lanning says he doesn't know if there's a player that's been more impactful in the last 5 weeks than Malik Benson, guys.
Yeah, Katie, he's a guy that they needed to step up. When they lost Evan Stewart for the year back in fall camp, knowing that Moore and McClellan, 2 freshmen, were going to be playing, they needed him to play well.
Now the training staff taking a peek at him right now. It's Whittington out of the backfield as he turns the corner and then is wrapped up by Cole Wisniewski.
One thing I've loved about Oregon's offense so far is the play of Dante Moore, and he's just taking what the defense gives him. He's 23 of 28 throwing the ball. He's making good decisions, and in a game like this where his defense is playing so well, he's not putting the football in danger. No turnovers. You see Benson over on the sideline right now. He's getting worked on. One of his key receivers right there. They got the Theragun out, trying to heat up those muscles. But Dante Moore right now, he is in a really nice rhythm, making really good decisions.
They're down and 2 for Moore. Downfield, and it's incomplete as DeCorian Moore was covered by Wisniewski.
That was an unbelievable effort by DeCorian Moore just to climb the ladder and try to reel that in. That's probably the most off target we've seen Dante Moore to this point. But Moore going up and almost getting that right paw on it to bring it down. Now sets up 4th down, and no surprise here. Dan Lanning has been very aggressive in this game, going for it on 4th down. He's going to do that again.
Remember, 3rd Oregon drive that started in Tech territory. And yet here they are with just 6 points. 4th down and 2. Play action. Moore. Is there anything there for him on 4th and 2? Can he get to that line? No. He is met as Jacob Rodriguez.
And that is a throw. Dante Moore in a play he's going to want to have back, as he had Kenyon Sadiq wide open for a touchdown, running a post off of this play fake.
But it was the Butkus Award winner, the Bednarik Award winner, the Lombardi Award winner. He's got a trophy case full of plays like this.
This is the throw Dante Moore's got to make right here. You got to let it go. He's cleared the defense, and Moore, one of the most accurate deep ball throwers in the country. I'm not sure how we didn't see that, but another miscue for Oregon's offense.
Turnover on downs. Texas Tech on offense when we return to the Capital One Orange Bowl. And it's students to the Capital One Orange Bowl. Today they're picking up the tab for the students from each school so that these fans could come cheer on their team in South Florida. You know that means nights at like 11 and Live in South Beach. We're way past that point. We're like the Motec crowd with our wives having wine and lamb.
Hey, Joe, it's a new year, brother. Can always turn a new leaf.
Yeah, not now. Let's just call ball and enjoy those lazy Sundays. Here is Williams after the turnover on downs. All right, so Jesse, listen, we just brought up the fact that Oregon is getting the ball in great field position. That was their 3rd drive that just started in Tech territory. But on those drives, Dan Lanning's group has only generated 3 points.
Miscues keep killing this offense, and it's dangerous because you're letting Texas Tech just hang around. Their offense has been so dormant, but it just takes one explosive play by them. They score, and all of a sudden, the Red Raiders are winning.
Quickly in the spaces, trying to get it to Williams, but it goes incomplete. I mean, there is just nothing happening with this Red Raiders offense.
No, but they've got to get their most dynamic playmakers the football. And I mentioned Reggie Virgil, #1 at wide receiver, and Caleb Douglas, #5. Big, tall targets on the perimeter that have made a lot of plays for this offense down the field. Only one catch for 5 yards between them. At some point, they have to make their presence felt against the secondary that has a lot of youth back there and that has been a little bit up and down, especially in their last 3 games.
Baron Morton, empty set here on 3rd and 11. He only has 7 completions for 40 yards in this Orange Bowl. Oh, the ball is out! The ball is out! Uiagalelei has it! Uiagalelei, and then he fumbles and returns to the 5-yard line, recovering it. Mateo Uiagalelei has put Oregon in prime position. Strip sack, fumble return.
This is an incredible effort by Uiagalelei. As you see Morton going to the sideline and that right arm hanging low off the ground, he's just going to come off the edge and rip away at this football, and somehow is able to just pluck it out of the air. That reminds me of David Pollock at Georgia back in the day against South Carolina in the end zone. No idea how he was able to hold on to this, but what a game-changing play, and now the 3rd takeaway for Oregon. We talked about in this game when they've gotten takeaways or they faked punts with success, they have not been able to pay it off with points. They have got to score a touchdown here if you're the Ducks.
It was Baron Morton, the quarterback, who had to make the tackle on Uiagalelei. And what a moment now for Oregon. Davison into the end zone. His 13th red zone touchdown of the year. The big-bodied true freshman, Jordan Davison.
Watch this block by Sali Apaga out here on John Curry. He's going to get the block and then push him back, which gives the space for Davison at 236 pounds to break the tackle and get into the end zone. And that's the answer the Ducks had to have after their defense got their 3rd takeaway.
Sappington adds the extra point. It is the play of the game so far in this college football playoff quarterfinal. Mateo Uiagalelei. They like to call him Young Concrete. He was on the go with the strip sack and the return, and then into the end zone. And you can hear the Austin Zoo from all the way here in South Florida.
Led by Donovan McNabb. So many first-round picks in that game, and obviously a great memory.
So many legends, of course, attached to this great tradition-rich bowl. Jimbo Fisher, Alfred Williams, Carson Palmer, and Lee Corso inducted into the Orange Bowl Hall of Fame yesterday with a beautiful luncheon over at the Biltmore in Coral Gables, and such a celebration always with everything that Eric Palms and his group does down here in South Florida surrounding this great game. Things just turned moments ago with the strip sack, the return by Uiagalelei, and the touchdown run by the Ducks. This is Williams on the return, trying to create a spark, and he's just tripped up. And a flag is down at the end of that return. Protection spotlight presented by Prudential.
Well, another wild sequence of events here recently here on 4th and short. Sadiq wide open downfield. Dante Moore doesn't get it thrown, and it's Rodriguez getting the stop. Very next drive, Uiagalelei comes across, and he gets the trifecta, the sack, the forced fumble, the fumble recovery. Very next play then by Oregon's offense is Jordan Davison taking it in for the score, giving the Ducks now a 13-0 lead.
His decline, number 32, is accepted. Half the distance to the goal, penalty, first down.
So that'll back up the Red Rager as Texas Tech just cannot find anything offensively. First penalty of the game on Tech, but they're inside their own 10-yard line now.
I think the one disadvantage for Texas Tech right now, too, is that obviously Oregon's defense has been dominant, but Joe, they're also very fresh.
Yes.
The Ducks defensively have only played 29 snaps up to this point in the game, so they are flying around.
Here's Morton after the turnover as he checks down to Dickey, and Cameron Dickey lowers the shoulders and makes his way out just beyond the 15.
So these playmakers, it's Dickey, it's Williams at running back, Virgil, Douglas. We haven't called Coy Aiken's name out of the slot at receiver. You've got to find ways to get the ball out of Baron Morton's hands quickly and help him reestablish a rhythm right here. A couple turnovers early in this game for Mac Leftwich there, the offensive coordinator. He's got to help his quarterback out a little bit here on this drive.
2nd and 2, short pitch to Dickey. And he's close to that line of gain for the Red Raiders. That was Flowers with the tackle.
Yeah, a redshirt freshman who has started every game this year for the Ducks and their secondary as well. That was a big question mark for that position group. They lost all 5 starters a year ago, and they've had to rely on a lot of young players in the back end.
And called his 3rd and very short, about a half a football. You see Sheridan Wilson, the center, just leaning it forward almost near that yellow line. As they will pick up the 1st down as Cam Dickey takes it ahead. Well, you know what's coming up next. The granddaddy of them all, Ty Simpson, makes his arrival to Pasadena. Here's Dickey on the check down, and they can't complete that.
No, and you're just not used to seeing Baron Morton this off target in this game. And that time there, a check down throw, an easy one to the running back, and he essentially just runs into the back of his own left tackle, Howard Sampson, which forces the errant throw. Baron Morton has just got to take a deep breath here, understanding this game's 13-0. There's a lot of football left to be played, but he's got to dial in.
Play action. Morton being chased downfield. And what an effort by Reggie Virgil as he went up and brought it down. Fastest player on the team, showing great body control.
Well, that's an unbelievable throw right over top of Theron Johnson. And how about that? The strong hands of Reggie Virgil and his ability to just pluck it out of the air. You've seen that time and time again this season for the Red Raiders.
There's Dickey looking to bounce this, but he only surges ahead for a yard as Uyunglele made the tackle.
But I thought that was a good play call, too, by Mac Leftwich, their offensive coordinator, moving the pocket and giving Baron Morton an easier time seeing the defense and delivering a strike.
Went to the line, 2nd and 9 as Dickey gets it out just beyond the 48-yard line. Thieneman with the tackle for the Ducks.
Miss an area of the field, down in distance, where the tight end, Terrence Carter, end up right here working option routes over the middle of the field, has been a weapon.
3rd down and 6 as Carter motions out. He sidearms it to Carter, and Carter indeed will have the 1st down. Good scouting this week, Jesse.
Well, yeah, I just like the idea of just out of his hands fast. Just don't let this rush get to him. And a nice job that time by Baron Morton. This is called negotiating the rush. He sees Uyunglele come off the ball, and he's thinking he's going to put his hands up. I got to lower my arm slot and just shortstop this thing over to Carter, and a nice job.
8 yards for Carter. Only their 2nd drive into Oregon territory today. Going to take a shot downfield, and that was nearly intercepted by Aaron Flowers.
Trying to throw the post, that time to Caleb Douglas. Aaron Flowers does a great job tracking that and stretches out and makes a great effort here to haul this thing in. Just can't quite hold on. That was nearly the 4th takeaway for the Ducks.
Jaden Kennedy was a little banged up at the end of that play. Flowers slow to run off too as you're watching the Capital One Orange Bowl. Take a quick break. Be right back to South Florida. Away from where we are right here at Hard Rock Stadium.
So what we're telling you at home is don't leave your couch. You get top 3 QB prospects heading into next year's draft.
Oh, man. Big time play by Dylan Thieneman to take down Jacoby Williams.
Yeah, his versatility coming in from Purdue has allowed this defense to be a little bit more multiple. And he's a guy that can play close to the line of scrimmage and is so good against the run. They play 2 schemes at Oregon. They play a traditional 4-2-5 with a smaller DB in the nickel, but then they play this 3 safety look where they get Thieneman in the middle close to the line of scrimmage, and you saw an example of it right there. And they can do all those things, Joe, with the exact same personnel on the field.
So, Jesse, it puts Baron Morton in a 3rd and 11 hole. That was complete to Carter, who stretches out that right hand, hoping he can get towards that stick.
Well, first off, phenomenal grab by Terrence Carter there. Ball thrown behind him, and Theron Johnson's coming in to knock it away, and he plucks it out of the air. And then the awareness of where the 1st down marker is, and trying to extend the football north to make this fourth down a little bit more manageable.
They're 58% on the season on fourth down. Joey McGuire needs to see his offense deliver right here, right now. They're going to direct snap to the running back, and it's Williams on fourth down. Can he get there? No, he can't. The Ducks stop him. Jaden Kennedy with the tackle.
It was Jaden Kennedy, the Ole Miss transfer, who came down, and he defeated the block by Cameron Dickey to get into the backfield and make this play. Right here, he blows up through number 8, Dickey, and then makes the stop. We've seen a few examples in this game, Joe, of these DBs from Oregon making big plays in their run game. It's not just the big fellas up front in the front 7, but it's total team defense. Dan Lanning, a defensive coach in his own right, absolutely loves it.
Well, these teams who have earned these first-round buys in the college football playoff now, as we're in year 2, it has looked shaky. This is Hill with the carry. Katie.
Well, Tess, Dante Moore is known for his poise, his good nature in the huddle, but he's also fiercely competitive. Before Uiagalelei's strip sack, Moore got on his offensive line. He was frustrated. He was showing them clips on the iPad. He said, we have to punch these guys in the mouth, and it starts with you guys up front. He was urging his big guys to raise their level of play.
Well, here's a guy who can punch right in the mouth, Katie. That is 236-pound Jordan Davison, who had the 6-yard touchdown run earlier.
Yeah, that poise that Katie's talking about with Dante Moore really is exceptional. He does have ice water in his veins. Plays his best football in the biggest moments. You saw that at the whiteout at Penn State with 111,000 people winning that game. You saw it on the 2-minute drive to beat Iowa earlier this year on the road as well. He's just got that it factor to him, and you can't coach poise into a quarterback, and I think that's one big reason why he's so high on so many draft boards.
They're going to shift Davison back into the backfield here on 3rd and 1. Moore's going to pass. And now scrambling to the stick and gliding out of bounds for a first down.
Well, it's an unbalanced look that time by Oregon. They're trying to get Texas Tech to think they're running the football. That's 2 tackles out there on the right side of the formation, and it's a play fake. You got Sadiq downfield blocking. It took a long time for Jeremiah McClellan to get out in the route, but a very good decision there by Dante Moore. Nothing open. I'm just going to use my speed. I know where the first down marker is. So take a look at the ATT connected cam, keeping this drive alive.
Davison again, and he is met in the hole that time after a gain of about 2.5 yards.
With Dante Moore, it was interesting. You know, he really waited his turn here at Oregon. He's the 3rd different quarterback they've had in 3 years now, but unlike Bo Nix and Dylan Gabriel, who came in before him, those are 2 of the most experienced quarterbacks in NCAA history who just came in and played right away. That wasn't the case with Dante Moore. He sat last year and watched Dylan Gabriel. He watched the way he operated. He watched the way he prepared. Certainly learned the scheme on offense. And I think having that year to just watch and learn from an outstanding quarterback in his own right is a big part, I think, of Dante Moore's success this season.
Now, those around the program will tell you he's quite different than Bo Nix and Dylan Gabriel. 2nd down and 8 as Moore keeps it here. Lowers the shoulders and is driven back by Wisniewski. They will say that Bo was a dynamic leader. Dylan had command of the team, and Dante Moore, more of a quiet leader, more a lead by example type of quarterback. And you see him with a slight limp there.
Well, he needs to slide and take care of himself. He doesn't need to be taking on linebackers and safeties. He's not a huge QB. Yes, he's 6'3", but slight of build at only 206 pounds and doesn't run it often, but in the playoff, you got to take care of the body.
Here's a 3rd down and 4. Whittington as he's pushed back by David Bailey.
And that now sets up 4th down, and you'd expect Dan Lanning to go for this again. He's been doing it all game long. His defense is playing lights out. How many more times can Texas Tech's defense in this kind of situation come up with a stop? I think 3 turnovers on down so far for the Oregon Ducks in this game. This defense has been lights out in these moments, and it's because of their D-line.
4th down and 2. Wood, the defensive coordinator. Oregon fans feeling confident. What does Dante Moore come up with on 4th and 2? Moore, pressured by Bailey, gets rid of it, and it is intercepted by Ben Roberts. Ben Roberts, who had 2 interceptions in the second half of the Big 12 championship game, comes up with an interception here in the Orange Bowl.
Ben Roberts just reads the eyes of Dante Moore, and it leads him right to the football. He's playing right here at the mic. He's just going to watch him. And Dante Moore's eyes are right here. Ball coming over the middle of the field, and that's just an easy interception for Ben Roberts. And another massive stop for Texas Tech on 4th down, gives them life.
Oregon and Texas Tech, both teams came in ranked in the top 10 both scoring offense and defense this season. Yes, we understand the defense. We've seen very little offense. Texas Tech's defense just came up big again. The interception by Ben Roberts. Jacoby Williams with blockers out in front as he settles down short of the 50. Stormy.
And while Oregon is winning the turnover battle so far, nobody has been better at taking away the football than this Texas Tech defense. And Joey McGuire, following that Ben Roberts pick, came over to the group and said, that's one. They have a take 3 mindset, a goal of 3 takeaways per game. That's one. They want 2 more.
Pre-snap penalty.
False start, offense, number 70. 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
And Stormy, to your point, I mean, college football, sports in general, it really is about momentum. And you have to capitalize and play complementary football when you get takeaways like that. So it is important this Texas Tech offense here takes advantage of this opportunity, scores some points, and starts to build and generate some of that confidence and momentum and get that on their sideline.
This is getting sloppy now.
False start, offense, number 78. 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
It's going to drive Joey McGuire crazy, and this is an issue this offensive line has had a few different times this year. Fans will remember all the false starts at Utah earlier in the year. They had 4 false start penalties in the Big 12 championship game. You know, playing in a neutral site here at Hard Rock Stadium, it's loud, but there are more Texas Tech fans than Oregon fans.
This delay handoff of Williams, who catches a seam and then is taken down that time by Aaron Flowers. 3 penalties in this 3rd quarter for Texas Tech. It'll be 3rd down.
It's been Jacoby Williams that has provided the spark and the explosives for this offense.
Quick to the line, quick to snap, and backing his way close to that line to gain was Williams.
I don't think there's no question here. Obviously, if you're Tech, you're going for this, and
that's a 1st down.
Okay.
They just gave them the mark for the 1st down.
And they're going fast, Joe. They're right up there right away, trying to put the pedal to the metal.
And the whistles blow.
The ruling on the field was a 1st down. The previous play is under further review.
They're going to take a look at where they spotted this football on that run by Jacoby Williams.
It was Terrence Green, the redshirt sophomore defensive tackle for Oregon, who was the first to get to Williams in the backfield. And it'll be interesting to take a look at this again and sort of see the spot. So 99's right here. He's the one who's going to get penetration right up the middle, shed the block. He begins to make the tackle there. And where's the football in relation to that 1st down marker when a knee or elbow hits the ground? You know, got to say, Joe, really impressed with Oregon's defensive line so far in this game. They're big and they're physical. They average about 6'3", 292 pounds across the board. And their D coordinator, Tosh Lapoy, was the DC back at Alabama with Nick Saban. And I think he's kind of built this D-line sort of in the same mold as what Alabama had for years.
After further review, the ruling on the field is upheld. 1st down.
Tosh is going to be headed to Cal to be the new head coach there in Berkeley.
Really big bodies up front. Everyone stops the run, but they can collapse the pocket as well. They don't have a lot of tiny guys who are dynamic pass rushers, but you've seen Uiagalelei and his athleticism. You've seen Tuioti on the other edge. They've got forces inside with Alexander and Washington. Green just making a nice play. It really looks like an NFL D-line.
Tuioti, who had the reception on the fake punt. As Williams comes out of the backfield.
I like
Tackled by Betcher. Of course, Uyunglele with the play of the game, the strip sack, the fumble return that set up the touchdown at the 6-yard line.
And people, they remember him leading the Big Ten in the regular season with 10.5 sacks a year ago. Joe's numbers down this year, but still making a huge impact.
Here's a fake as Williams takes the direct snap as Morton played it off. And all of a sudden it was Williams who takes the direct snap ahead. It'll be 3rd and short.
Yeah, you heard Joey McGuire tell Stormy earlier, maybe some more creativity, and there's an example of that. And I love Mac Leftwich just finding creative ways to get number 20 the football and touches.
And Morton tried to fake out that defense. Did well for a gain of 5. And now Williams probing and getting the first down as Betcher corrals him after a gain of 3.
And there's a little bit of a trick cadence that time. Baron Morton looked to the sideline as if he was getting the play call, hoping that Oregon was just going to take a nap. Just watch his body language. And at the last second, he snaps his hand, or claps his hands, and they hand it off, and just to try to find an advantage to run that ball and get the first down.
Coming up on the final half minute of this 3rd quarter. It's going to be desperate time for the Red Raiders. Morton with time drives the ball downfield and he gets it complete to Terrence Carter. Is this finally the spark that Texas Tech needs?
It's an unbelievable catch, and Dickey paid the price at running back to make this possible. Watch the running back come over here and get absolutely steamrolled by Bryce Betcher, but it gave Baron Morton the time to get this throw off on the wheel route to Carter, back shoulder throw.
And that is the end of the 3rd quarter. Texas Tech had 3 first downs in the first half. Now they have 3 first downs in this drive alone. They're looking to finally get on the scoreboard. Terrence Carter helps right here as we head to the 4th quarter.
Dan, your defense has been fantastic all afternoon. What do you have to see here in the red zone?
Yeah, now everything's going to be a 4th down go for them. They got to go score points. They're not going to take field goals. Very, very unlikely for them unless it's a long distance. So we got to be able to stop them on 3rd and 4th down.
Thanks for the time.
Yep.
Well, Lanning's defense has done their job for 3 quarters, but now all of a sudden, after Terrence Carter had a 24-yard reception, it's Baron Morton and the Red Raiders looking to start this 4th quarter with a bang. Dickey trying to spin free, and he is tackled right at the line of scrimmage by Finney. Finney, the outstanding true freshman Jesse, who has an interception and a fumble recovery.
And this is an interesting area of the field, Joe, because Texas Tech has really struggled this year in the red zone scoring touchdowns. Oregon's defense has struggled at stopping people from scoring touchdowns, so something has to give. But this is the best opportunity, certainly in this game. Texas Tech has had to get on the scoreboard, no doubt. They need a touchdown here.
2nd and goal. They go with Carter. Carter has nothing. It was great pursuit that started with Jerry Mixon, and then Thieneman pushed him out.
So that now sets up a big 3rd down, and the windows to throw into in this area of the field, they constrict really quickly. Baron Morton hasn't played with great timing in this game. He's been off target a few times, never finding a rhythm. He seems to be getting it back here after that long throw to Carter. This is a play where he's got to have great timing. He's got to be really good with his eyes.
All those hopeful fans who have traveled to South Florida. 3rd and goal to the end zone. They go. It is intercepted, and it's Finney again. Brandon Finney with an all-time Orange Bowl. 2 interceptions and a fumble recovery for the freshman.
Well, we just talked about Baron Morton having to be good with his eyes, and he has terrible eye discipline on this play here. You're trying to run the corner route. The guy that's going to impact this is the corner Finney. He's looking right at it the entire way, never sees Finney drop back out of this, and literally just throws him a jump ball into the end zone for Finney's 3rd takeaway of the game. Talk about this guy and the career he's going to have at Oregon from day one. The moment he stepped on campus in Eugene, he's been the man at corner, and he picked a really good day to have the best, probably the best football game of his life.
The story for Texas Tech all season long has been what the defense has been able to do in the turnover margin. 4th turnover today for the Red Raiders. They were the best in the country with a +17 margin.
I think if you're Oregon now on offense, you're going to slow things way down. Got a 13-0 lead earlier in the game, trying to go fast, trying to go tempo, but at this point now, you're going to take as many seconds off the clock as you can.
Short pitch to Whittington. As Whittington is tackled near the 28-yard line by Lee Hunter. Last season, Oregon, the #1 seed, lost in the Rose Bowl to Ohio State. The focus this year, the statement in week 1, rolling JMU, come here to South Florida, and the defense doing their job, trying to advance to the semifinals. It'll be the Peach Bowl against the winner of the Rose Bowl, Alabama or Indiana, if they can hold on here. Dante Moore, as he is driven back after a gain of maybe 1.5 yards.
Well, A.J. Holmes makes that play, takes on a double team for Texas Tech up front, and closes the gap on a quarterback draw attempt by Dante Moore. We've seen David Bailey make plays. Romello Height has a sack. Lee Hunter living in the backfield. And now the second-team All-American A.J. Holmes doing his job, not making the tackle, but making the play right in here.
And now James Ferguson Reynolds on to punt away. Penalty flag is down. It was 4th and 2. Jerry Magallanes heads up this ACC crew.
Offside, defense, #1. 5-yard penalty, results in a first down.
That's absolutely brutal. These are the things that you just can't do at a championship level.
It was A.J. McCarty just right over the ball, and just a little bit too early. With that penalty, it gives Oregon a fresh set of downs just right here. It's an easy call for the referee to make, and
by the way, it's pointless.
Yeah, it's just, you just got to lock in. You're over the ball. I mean, you have no excuse.
You're not rushing the punter.
Exactly.
You're in a return game. It's just sloppy and pointless on 4th and less than 5 to be that careless. And Oregon retains possession.
And minutes now are going to come off the clock. So long as Oregon doesn't turn this thing over on 3 downs, if they just run the ball 3 straight plays here, that's a lot of precious time off the clock.
The true freshmen are in the backfield, and they will give it to Hill. Dier Hill, the freshman combo of Davison and Hill. They've been awesome. Hill, 3rd in the nation, 8.57 yards per carry. Davison, the bruiser, had the 6-yard touchdown run earlier today.
Isn't it amazing, Joe, just how they've hit on skill guys out of high school? 24 touchdowns scored this year by true freshmen for Oregon. That's the 2nd most in the country. We talk about people getting guys out of the portal and hitting on them. But Dan Lanning and this staff, man, they found some gold out of high school.
Have they ever? It's going to be a very bright future as they swing it to Hill. And Hill weaves his way. You know, I brought it up earlier, Jesse, in terms of what we've learned now as we're into year 2 of the expanded playoff. And to sit here with Dan Lanning, think a year ago what happened to them when they were the #1 seed. This 12-team format, the teams who have earned supposedly the reward of the first-round bye, 0 for 5. And here's Texas Tech trailing by 13 in the 4th quarter.
We talk to coaches about that sometimes, Joe, and they talk about not wanting the layoff. You want your players to get back out on the field and play, and you just wonder if those teams that had the byes, there was just a little bit of rust. Certainly, Ohio State was very rusty early in their first half against Miami last night.
A layoff, and then you're playing in the neutral site bowl. Here's Lamar, Jaden Lamar with a chunk play for the Ducks.
Well, we talked about the deep backfield that Oregon has, and it's not just Davison, and it's not just Whittington, and it's not just Hill, but Jaden Lamar is really good at running the ball, blocking, and catching the football. Of course, he took a block punt for a touchdown against JMU in their last game, but he's kind of a bit of a Swiss Army knife that offensive coordinator Will Stein has at his disposal in this offense.
He'll often see 5 different running backs for Oregon, and now Lamar getting in here in the fourth quarter. Dante Moore to pass, and now scrambling before he is just tripped up that time by Romello Height.
Well, Tess, you mentioned the long layoff here for Texas Tech. One of the surprises that came out of our meetings with Joey McGuire and the coaching staff was that they didn't do much live tackling at all throughout the course of the last 26 days. And for prep, he wanted to get his veteran group as healthy as possible. And he told his guys, make me right. Make the way that we prepped for this game correct. And so on defense, it looks like it's been that way. Offensively, not so much.
Interesting to consider the approach there and the strategy, Jesse, of how you manage that gap in time leading up to this New Year's Day.
Well, he talked about the first week after the Big 12 championship game, they just focused on self-scout. They were just looking at themselves and working on scheme and execution on both sides of the ball before diving into Oregon and their opponent. And Stormy's absolutely right. Defense, there's been zero drop.
Oh.
Offensively, though, it looks like they haven't played football all season.
Under 8.5 to play to advance to the national semifinals. 3rd down and 7. Moore gets it up quickly, but it's short of that line to gain to the 25-yard line as he gets it to Kenyon Sadiq.
There's an interesting decision here for Dan Lanning, too, because if you go for it and stay on the field, you take more clock off. But I think the choice here is to kick a field goal and make this a 16-0 game, 2 possession scores. You see the starting right tackle, Alex Harkey, a little bit slow getting up.
Well, we'll take a break as the medical team goes out to see Alex Harkey. 8 minutes to play in the Capital One Orange Bowl. Should have joined us with the Ram Trucks postgame after things go final here at the Orange Bowl. Oh, look at the Stash crowd there. Jacob Rodriguez, of course, the Stash package. Oh, there's the Capital One Bank guy, Jesse. We'll have the Capital One Orange Bowl MVP and trophy presentation after the game. I don't know how many people thought that maybe a true freshman corner would be the MVP. That could be the case here with the 3 takeaways by Brandon Finney if things hold up. Sappington with the 43-yard attempt.
So impressed with the true freshman, Brandon Finney. We just talked about all the success they've had scoring touchdowns offensively. Finney, by the way, one of those guys, took a pick 6 back against Indiana, and he's having another one, big one here in this game. Has the pick early, then jumps on a loose fumble. Biggest play he's made, though, so far, just when it looked like Texas Tech was finally threatening inside the red zone. He climbs the ladder and gets a big-time interception. And takeaways and the takeaway differential, that's been the difference so far in this game.
The 5-star recruit who came out of Maryland, the McDonough School there. And he has delivered on all the hype. But you talk to the coaches and they'll say it's because of the work ethic. It's because of the focus. It's because of always giving as much as he can. A guy who was in the indoor facility by himself in the summertime, just putting in the work. And then it pays off on New Year's Day, doesn't it? It's not by accident. 16-0. Of course, this field will be home to the College Football Playoff National Championship. And there is the head coach who confidently feels that his #1 team in the country will be arriving here. They got to take care of business today, though, out in Pasadena.
Well, he should feel pretty confident based on how complete his team is as well. And it's not just having a Heisman Trophy winner at quarterback in Mendoza. They can run the ball. Their defense is outstanding, stopping the run and getting after the quarterback as well. It's going to be a fun one to watch.
There's Baron Morton as he throws it to the inside of Jacoby Williams. This is going to be one of those days that Baron Morton is going to sit back and say, I need to put it in the rearview mirror.
Yeah, you're just not used to seeing him miss easy throws like that. Normally, those are automatic. And this is a point of the game, Joe. Under 8 minutes to go. You need 2 touchdowns and 2 two-point conversions. You got to be hitting those plays.
Flags rain in again.
Snap infraction, offense, number 72. 5-yard penalty, second down.
You know, and for the most part, especially this year, it's been like a movie script, as Joey McGuire has talked about with Baron Morton, the local kid who grows up a huge Texas Tech fan, whose dad was a Texas high school football coach. And Baron made a commitment as the highest ever quarterback recruit to sign with Texas Tech and deliver on dreams like this to get into the college football playoff as he connects with Terrence Carter. But today's been a nightmare up until this point.
But they still have a chance to win, though, Joe. Even though it's been as bad as it's been here, if they can get a touchdown here on this drive and go quickly and get it done, they're still in this thing.
They're down in 7. Can they convert as he goes shallow underneath to Williams, who breaks the first 2 initial tackles before being settled down at the 30-yard line with Tuioti.
And I think you got to go if you're Texas Tech.
No
I know
doubt.
you're backed up in your own 30, but you've got to stay out there, and someone's going to have to make a play. Terrence Carter, for the most part in those situations at tight end, has been the guy they've gone to, number 7. To formate him, put him in motion, stack, release him to try and give him some access off the line of scrimmage to work against zone coverage.
Here's 4th down and 5 from their own 29. And Morton is sacked by Tatum Tuioti. What a day Tatum has had.
Well, he had a sack earlier in the game. He also was the guy that caught the fake punt to keep that drive alive. And then here he is working against the redshirt freshman All-American Ponton outside. And he wins again one-on-one. This Oregon defense, they have been lights out in this game, pitching a shutout. Best, I think, for Alabama to win that game. They've got to find a semblance of a running game to give them some balance. To me, Jam Miller at running back has got to have a big day, but running the ball consistently, that has been an issue all season long for the Tide.
Man, those images of Texas Tech and their bench and then the fans here is they don't even have 200 total yards of offense as we're under 7 minutes to go in this Orange Bowl. It has been hopeless offensively for the Red Raiders. And Whittington takes it ahead for just a yard. Katie.
Well, guys, Dante Moore had his throwing hand crunched in a tackle during the last drive. His hand was bleeding. There's blood on his pants, but he did not seem phased over on the sidelines. Right tackle Alex Harkey came limping off. They took a look at that right ankle, checked his mobility, retaped it. He's back out there as well, guys.
Well, certainly good news for Oregon up front. Remember, this is an offensive line that was a big question mark coming into the year, Katie. They had to replace 4 different starters, and I think what's been impressive to me is that they've had guys go down at different times during the year. You think back to a 3-game stretch against Minnesota and Iowa and USC. Guys were dropping like flies, and still this offense was able to perform.
Got the receivers back to full health here. This clock's going to go under 6 minutes.
I think the biggest takeaway for me with Oregon is just how well their defense played in this one. And that's got to make them feel good and confident, especially coming off that game against JMU.
Yeah, people don't consider the second half of that game against JMU.
A lot of backups in the game at that point, making a lot of those mistakes in coverage and tackling, but they're going to play somebody good on offense next.
Right.
If it's Indiana or if it's Alabama in the Peach Bowl, and for this defense to play this way and kind of get that mojo back they've had all year, I think is huge.
3rd and 8, Whittington, and he was tripped up as he got to the 18-yard line by David Bailey.
Really good job. I think you got to give a lot of credit to Tosh LaPoy, the defensive coordinator. He's got a lot on his plate right now. You mentioned earlier, he's the new head coach at Cal. And he doesn't have a lot of time in his day away from game planning the Oregon Ducks winning a national championship to focus on building a staff at Cal, the transfer portal, recruiting, buying a house, where the kids go to school. I mean, there's a lot on this guy's plate, and he's done a remarkable job getting his defense ready to play lights out in this one.
And he's headed to Cal, and then the offensive coordinator, Will Stein's going to be the new head coach at Kentucky. Sappington, as it just leaks to the left as he was having himself a good day, but it remains 16-zip. The Oregon defense has been awesome. Uiagalelei and Finney in all the big plays. There is big young concrete, and there's the true freshman sensation. 16-zip. Watching the Capital One Orange Bowl from here in South Florida. For the conference's #1 seed, Seahawks and Niners at 7:45. So happy to have the AT&T connected cam today here for this Orange Bowl. And this is Williams. Just the struggle today for Baron Morton and this Texas Tech offense.
You've got to give, I think, all the credit really to Oregon's defense and what they've been able to do. They've controlled this game, rushing only 4 guys. They haven't given up many explosive plays. There's a very late substitution here coming on for Oregon. It's going to take more time off the clock for Texas Tech. Still down 2 touchdowns with 2 two-point conversions needed.
Morton goes to Carter, and Carter's right near that stick. All the big turnovers, the costly turnovers, the big takeaways for the Ducks, and this is the type of game that Texas Tech fans have not seen all year long.
This is certainly not the performance that they were hoping for, and this is a premature ending to the season that they envisioned. But I don't think that changes the prospect moving ahead.
Morton with so much time to go downfield, and it is incomplete as Caleb Douglas was double covered that time with Flowers and Ubidago.
I think nice job on the back end by this Ducks secondary. They just have not been able to get Caleb Douglas going in this game. There's a lot of fighting and hand fighting going on back there. Caleb Douglas looking for the flag. The referee's deciding to just let it go. Another late substitution here by Oregon, now getting their best pass rushers back on the field. Tuioti and Uiagalelei now coming off the edge.
Second down with pressure right in front of him as Morton just throws it away. There's nobody near him as Virgil was streaking downfield.
Well, I was talking about the outlook for Texas Tech moving forward. I really do believe that Joey McGuire and this staff, they really are changing the expectations at Texas Tech. You think about the heyday with Mike Leach and the air raid. They were always going to score points, always throw it over the yard, maybe knock off one of the better teams in conference every year, always go to a bowl game. But I think with their bankroll and their ability to hit in the portal and GM James Blanchard and his staff hitting on guys, I think the new expectations are going to change.
There's Morton running ahead. Remember, been playing the year with that injury to his leg. Felt like he's at about 90% health coming into this Orange Bowl as he runs it straight ahead before Thieneman makes the tackle.
He's been extremely tough all season long, Joe. Got hurt in the first game against Arkansas Pine Bluff. He's been dealing with that all season long.
Here's 4th down, and he is absolutely smothered by Blake Purchase. What an exclamation mark to cap this defense's day.
I don't know what Howard Sampson and Will Jados were doing together on the offensive line at left tackle and left guard. Watch these two right here on this play. Howard Sampson starts to pull, actually runs into his own guy. Nobody blocks anybody, and Purchase is able to make the sack. Just miscommunication, and it has been that kind of day for this Texas Tech offense.
Morton's been sacked 4 times. 18 of 32 passing, just 137 yards. The 2 interceptions thrown. The Ducks defense in those winged helmets. Not a speck of green and yellow to be found. And they have played a heck of a game as Davison takes it ahead. Our Capital One rewarding performance looks this way, Jesse.
Yeah, the turnovers we talked about, that's been the story. And for the most part, it's been Brandon Finney in the back end being around it. He had the interception early, this fumble caused by Betcher. He falls on it. The play of the day, though, has been Uiagalelei getting the strip sack, fumble recovery, and the very next play, they score a touchdown. And then with their backs against the wall down in the red zone on a big 3rd down play, Brandon Finney doing a great job with his eyes. And letting Baron Morton telegraph that throw in the back corner, coming up with their 4th takeaway of the game. A big confidence booster for them as they get ready to take on the winner of Indiana and Alabama. 2 really good offenses in the Rose Bowl game coming up next.
There's DJ's little brother, young concrete, Mateo Uiagalelei. Interesting character, really creative, produces music, does some tailoring and sewing to make his own clothes. And it's interesting, we talked so much about the dynamic matchup of this game, that front 7 of Texas Tech against the explosive offense of Oregon. And yet what has defined this game, what has determined this Orange Bowl, is the Oregon front, the Oregon defense against the struggles of the Texas Tech offense.
Definitely came into this game with a massive, massive chip on their shoulder for 2 reasons. Number 1, because of the way they performed against James Madison in the last playoff game. But 2, they heard all for the last several weeks now about how good Texas Tech's defense is. Nobody giving Oregon's defense enough credit. I think they took that to heart. They took offense to that. And they've come out here, Joe, and they've been playing with their hair on fire on that side of the ball.
They have, and you consider what happened a year ago when Oregon won the Big Ten. They were the #1 overall seed. They had the layoff. Right. The struggles with these teams that have the first round bye and the layoff. But this defense was sensational. Tuioti, he was in there defensively with a couple of sacks. Also had the reception on the fake punt. They come all the way cross country with the early kickoff. As you see, Tosh Lupoi, the defensive coordinator, going to be the head coach at Cal, and his defense pitching a shutout here as we come upon this 2-minute timeout. A nearly flawless performance from the Ducks defense today. They're going to bring this thing in for a celebratory landing here at the Capital One Orange Bowl. And then the Rose Bowl's headed your way after a short break. Don't go anywhere.
Up and being dominant as well. Defense wins championships, and we've seen good examples of that here in their first 2 games in the quarterfinals.
Jaden Lamar has been getting some playing time here as Oregon has been in their 4-minute offense. And of course, the Heisman Trophy winner is coming up in the Rose Bowl. Timeout's going to be utilized by Texas Tech. And with a little something after the play, some flags are thrown.
Well, this is an Oregon team that has the talent to win it all and to be the 3rd straight Big Ten national champion. It is amazing to me the way that Dan Lanning and his staff have just been able to reload. They've lost 18 draft picks in the NFL draft the last 2 years, but through high school recruiting, we talked about all the playmakers they've got at running back and receiver in the portal, Thieneman and Bear Alexander and these offensive linemen. They lose good players and they develop guys and they recruit guys, and dudes step up and they're deep. And if they put it all together, they can win it all.
Unsportsmanlike conduct, defense, number 31, is first of the game. After this instead of goal penalty, automatic first down. Timeout.
David Bailey was outstanding in the first half, but the frustration settle in when you look up at the scoreboard there. Or this record-setting season for Texas Tech, that to sit here and be shut out in a college football playoff game. Remember that Michigan State team against Bama back in 2015, and then Ohio State in the 2016 Peach Bowl in a playoff game. And here is Texas Tech without a point on the scoreboard after being such an explosive offense all year long.
Well, the Texas Tech defense shouldn't hang their heads.
Oh, no.
Because to me, they did their job today. They played well enough to win this game, and in my eyes, they're a national championship caliber defense. But of course, in college football, it's a team game. You've got to have complementary football, and today, for the Red Raiders, they just didn't get it done offensively.
Jacob Rodriguez, one of the best seasons in terms of productivity on the field that we've seen from a linebacker this year. Ben Roberts, who you just saw there with an interception, had 2 in the Big 12 championship game. And now Jordan Davison is going to carry the ball ahead as the clock will continue to count down. Of course, the offensive weapons you're about to see include Ryan Williams, the wide receiver for Alabama, getting set to go up against that Indiana defense in the Rose Bowl.
Yeah, and he's been in the news this week, obviously. A lot of people wondering if he was going to enter the transfer portal. He says he's coming back. He's had drop problems, obviously. That's well documented all season long, but this is the type of game against an elite defense like Indiana where they need all hands on deck, and Ryan Williams, certainly a guy that has got to be an X factor for Alabama.
Of course, Fernando Mendoza, the Heisman winner with a single season record 33 touchdowns at Indiana. Be interesting to see how things play out with these college football playoffs affecting the pro prospect chatter, because we came into this game with Dante Moore being talked about by Mel Kiper as the #1 prospect. Others who say, oh, Fernando Mendoza, you've been very high on Ty Simpson.
Yeah, no question. These are big money games.
Big money games this time of the year.
I mean, this is what happens. And these are the games that matter most to talent evaluators at the next level, be it scouts, coaches, or GMs. All three of these guys playing before it's 7:30 p.m. Eastern today, so just do not leave the couch. You've got a lot of talent at the QB position coming your way.
Dante Moore's got more business to take care of at the end of next week as Davison takes the ball inside the 5-yard line. Texas Tech is out of timeouts.
And I think for Oregon, obviously defense, check. Offense, though, I think as they lead up to whoever they're going to play next in the Peach Bowl, they've got to clean up the mistakes. You've got to be able to execute a shotgun snap. You got to be able to execute handing off to the running back. You can't have false start penalties, things that set you back. This is an offense that is very dynamic, and they're balanced, and they're explosive. They're the most explosive offense in the entire country with 91 plays of 20 or more yards coming into this one. As long as they don't get in their own way, they can score on anybody.
They're going to mark Davison just short of the goal line.
You see him just falling here short of the goal line. There's probably people at home wondering, why aren't you just taking a knee at this point? Down by the goal line, you're up 16-0, and maybe just take some knees and get out of here. But I got to be honest, I played for Steve Spurrier, and I know he'd do the same thing.
That guy's different.
Yeah, just, hey, if you're on the field, you try to score. And it's up to the other team to stop you from doing that. And I'm not against Dan Lanning's approach right here in the least bit.
And he's going to use that timeout. And we'll take it. It gives us the chance to... I'll tell you what, it gives us a chance to say thank you to our amazing crew that we've been on the road with all year, led by Josh Hoffman and Anthony DeMarco, as well as Fred Clow and the entire operations team. Everybody has put in so much work since the beginning of the season. Man, you never know where the twists and turns of a college football year go. You and I started the year with an ABC 3:30 game with Alabama being upset by Florida State, and you would think, who knows where things are going? Alabama's about to play in the Rose Bowl.
You never know. I'll tell you what, you never know what's going to happen. We're very lucky, you, Katie, and I, to be a part of some really great games, and games that have really defined this college football season. But what makes it even more special is the crew and the people that we get to share all these experiences with. We're only as good as everybody on our crew, and it was a magical and a very memorable 2025 for all of us here calling these games and being lucky enough to do that. This is a fantastic way to ring in 2026.
You can see the emotion setting in for Texas Tech, 12-win team, Big 12 champions, come here to South Florida with such hope, as Davison will thicken up that box score.
Hey, you play the game until there's zeros on the clock, and this might also be Dan Lanning trying to inject some confidence into his offense as well. It's been a bit of a struggle all season, and going up against this defense and everybody talking about the front seven and the D line and how dominant they were. You know, I do think Oregon took offense to that. I'm sure the coaches probably did as well, and this may be a little bit of a message they're trying to send the rest of the country. 23-0 in a quarterfinal. It's an impressive score.
Remember, Oregon goes on to play the winner of the Rose Bowl. It'll be Alabama or Indiana up in Atlanta next week. The play of the day came defensively. It was Mateo Uyunglele. The strip sack and the return that set up the touchdown.
And they had been struggling all game long when getting takeaways to generate any points after that. The very next play, they finally scored and really kind of broke this game wide open. That play right there, really a microcosm of the day it's been for the Ducks defense. At all three levels of the defense, too. In the secondary, at linebacker, and at D-line, they've all taken part in takeaways. But to me, the MVP of this game is that guy right there, the true freshman cornerback, Brandon Finney, just outstanding.
His name always mentioned when they discuss the hardest working guys on the team, and all that hard work paid off today. He's all smiles. The 3 takeaways. The fourth quarter interception in the end zone. The interception in the second quarter. The fumble recovery. He was a playmaker. Here's Williams on the return. Alabama, Indiana moments away. Alabama going to be able to run the ball?
I don't think so. Not against Indiana in that front seven. I don't. And Alabama's struggled all season long when it's come to that. Now, I know Indiana's not fully loaded in their front seven defensively coming into this game. A key injury to Stephen Daly on the defensive line. Second in the nation in tackles for loss with 19. But I think for Alabama, I think it's going to be one-dimensional, and they're going to need a big-time performance from Simpson.
Cameron Dickey's carry should put an end to it right here. And the Oregon Ducks, their first appearance in the Orange Bowl, and they are the winners. The Ducks advance to the CFP semifinals. Their third 13-win season in program history. They very much looked the part today, Katie.
A nice Gatorade bath for Dan Lanning. Coach, that was a defensive clinic. 4 takeaways, 3 of which came from a true freshman. How much pride did you have watching your defense today?
Man, it was a lot of fun. You know, last week a lot of people talked about our defense. They showed up today, right? I hold them to 0. It's a really good offense. It's a really good team that we just got to play. And our guys went out there and they just played the next play, played the next play, played the next play. They got in the red area, we played the next play, right? Offense just kept punching and punching. We out-physicaled them there at the end, and that's where it needed to show up.
Your offense was able to score on that final drive. What takeaways do you have for them going into the national semifinal?
We're going to have some growth moments for sure, you know, but we're going to look at the tape, evaluate what we did well, what we didn't do well, and we'll be about the same things we've been about all year, growth, right? Opportunity for us to grow. But what was important today, we got the W.
You're headed to the Peach Bowl. Why was it this team that could get you there?
Man, the strength in numbers, the connection to this group, the way they work all year, the sacrifices that they've made, they've earned this opportunity, right? I told them to go get their pound of flesh today. They did that today.
Congratulations. Best of luck moving forward.
Thank you so much.
Katie, Dan Lanning is now 48-7 as a head coach. That's the highest winning percentage among active FBS coaches. This was the Gatorade dump that Katie mentioned. As Lanning comes cross country and conquers the Orange Bowl.
You know, Joe, I think there's something very dangerous about a team that is talented but also playing with a chip on their shoulder. And I think Oregon did that here today, and they got to make sure they continue to keep that chip, whatever it is, in the media, whatever it is, to find that edge and take it into the Peach Bowl.
And Stormy, a young star is born on defense for the Ducks.
No question about it. 2 interceptions, a fumble recovery for the true freshman, Brandon Finney. At what point could you tell it was just going to be one of those days for you in this defense?
Before the game even started, I mean, me and JC talked about it before the game. Like, we come to games to dominate. We come to games to make play. And it's easy to make plays when we have a great front like we do. Best front in the nation.
This Texas Tech offense is one that was one of the highest scoring in all of college football this year. You guys pitch a shutout. What kind of statement do you think your unit did make?
Yeah, I believe we have the best defense in the country. I mean, from the front to the secondary to the linebackers. I mean, our culture, labeled by Coach Tosh, I mean, I feel like we're the best in the nation.
Talking to the coaching staff about you, they raved about the work and you being at the facility by yourself in the summer trying to gear up for this freshman season. How much does it mean to you to have those moments that nobody else saw pay off for you in the biggest moments like tonight?
I mean, you get in what you get out what you put in. So, I mean, even if I didn't have the season that I'm having right now, I would still be putting in the work. I'm not really expecting any outcome. I do it to know that, just to build confidence.
It's not over yet. Enjoy this. Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Stormy, great to have you with us today here in South Florida. For Katie and Stormy and Jesse, I'm Joe Tessitore. Enjoy the rest of your incredible New Year's Day because the Rose Bowl game, presented by Prudential, Alabama and Indiana, is coming up next. And it's coming your way in just 60 seconds with Reese Davis on the other end. It was all Ducks, 23-0 in the Capital One Orange Bowl.